South Carolina, minus 3.5 points at Vanderbilt. 4:15 Eastern, SEC Network. Vandy is ranked. South Carolina, for whatever reason, is not. I said it once, I'll say it again. This is the people's top 25 matchup. This is the matchup that should be top 25. However, I guess we can't have nice things. It is what it is. College football sickos, welcome home. We've been expecting you. Make sure you're subscribed right here to the On3 YouTube channel. No hot takes, no clickbait, no traffic for traffic's sake. Just ball the way that you want it talked about the greatest sport on the face of planet Earth. Want to make sure y'all know this show brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. Use code HARDCOUNT, $5 in lineups, gets you $50 in promo funds. A great way to maximize your college football Saturday. Back to the prediction. For Vanderbilt, man, this is not your parents' Vanderbilt. All due respect to your parents. I'm sure they're wonderful people. This Vanderbilt team is not just like a different logo, because they did change their logo from what it used to be. But they beat Bama, and that's awesome, and the vibes are crazy, and you're throwing goalposts into the Cumberland, and like, awesome, cool. Psychopath move to walk it down Broadway. The goalpost, that is. More power to you. But it wasn't just like they beat Bama, and they were feeling a little bit frisky that day and got it done. Like, we haven't seen the major Vanderbilt letdown since that game. So what I'm trying to tell you is Vanderbilt is for real. They're for real. Like, what they did to Bama, that was real. They played Texas very close. A lot of people would say they maybe play here, play there. They beat Texas. I don't disagree with you. Came down to an onside kick. We haven't seen Vanderbilt have some sort of implosion. Just haven't seen it. Saw them beat Auburn last week. At Auburn now, by the way. Auburn is what they are, but like Jordan Hare is not an easy place to play. And so where I arrive at with Vanderbilt is I think Diego Pavia, the quarterback for them, transferring in, I think he is to Vandy what Curt Cignetti is to Indiana. And what I mean by that is Curt Cignetti with the Hoosiers, man, he is just like borderline arrogant. Ton of self-confidence, ton of belief, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, Diego Pavia isn't quite as outspoken, but just the way that he plays the game, the fire, the emotion, like he has no reason to have that emotion and have that level of confidence that he has internally, on paper at least, right? Transfer from New Mexico State. Just getting to the SEC. You're not supposed to be balling like you're balling at Vanderbilt, but he is. And I think that belief and that emotion that he brings to the table, with it being at such a high level and that overflowing onto his teammates, I think that helps flip the script of what old Vandy used to be. Same way Curt Cignetti's flipped the script on what old Indiana used to be. Now, do not get it twisted. The portal pieces they have acquired out there in Vanderbilt are a massive addition, so make sure that's clear. But Vanderbilt is a different Vanderbilt team, different swagger. Diego Pavia, a massive reason why. The door's a real deal. Now, South Carolina, here's the deal for them. Can they reset after a crazy emotional win? Because here's the deal, man. A lot of teams have had crazy emotional wins, then roll into Nashville, Tennessee, and they struggle. Because they see Vandy on the schedule. They say, oh, nice, we got Vandy. Let's get right. Let's get healthy. Let's enjoy ourselves this week. Good week of practice. Enjoy the win that we just had. Get another dub. Doesn't work that way. Ask Alabama after they played Georgia. Ask Texas after they played Georgia and it took them to again, an onside kick. Can South Carolina have the ability to reset after a massive signature kind of win for Shane Beamer against A&M? Because I think as much as, the Vanderbilt operation is improved from what they were, I still think South Carolina has better players. Now, is that the difference in this game? We'll see. Vanderbilt, speaking to the talent gap that may or may not be there, they are like a souped-up academy team. And when I speak to the academies, love the academies. I love the option. The option football is actually what I did in high school. It's phenomenal. The reason why I love the option, and now don't get it twisted, the option is different at Vanderbilt than it would be at an Army or a Navy or an Air Force. They're a little bit more out of gun. Another conversation for another time. But it's still option football. The reason why I love option football, the reason why it's beautiful, it rewards discipline. It rewards grit. If you want to beat Vanderbilt, you have to play for the duration of 4 quarters assignment sound football. Because all it takes is one missed assignment. We're out the back door. We got a counter going one way. We got a pitch on the perimeter, whatever it looks like. We're busting it for 60 yards. That could be how Vanderbilt lives. That's how Vanderbilt hurts you. Another reason why I love the option, it's consistent. All you got to do, my head coach used to say this, Coach Peterson, over there at Air Force, or came from Air Force, now coaching football in the state of Tennessee, says all we need is 3 yards. 3 yards for us is a positive play. First, second, third down, 3.3 yards a carry. Hey, we got at least 4th inches. At best, it's a first down. So I think the early discipline for South Carolina is going to be crucial. The reason why I specify early discipline is because if you can get a few stops, I do think that South Carolina's offense is going to be able to generate something. More on that in a second. But if you can score points against Vandy and force them to chase, like as good as Diego Pavia is, this team is not built to throw the football. I love Elijah Stowers. I love Diego Pavia. I love everything they're doing offensively, but they are 39% of the time throwing the football. What does that tell us? They don't want to throw the ball. Not that they can't. They're not built to. It's not their bag. They'll hit you on some explosives. They're, I believe, top 25 in America in yards per pass, so they set up the pass game, but they're not trying to go drive for drive with you here. So for South Carolina on that defensive line, if you can play disciplined football and not allow those 3.3 yards a carry, you're going to be in good shape. Now, within that conversation, a massive variable in that is Dylan Stewart and Kyle Kennard. Those dudes are freak shows. Those dudes are Sunday players. Dylan Stewart's only a true freshman. Golly, I mean, it's just wild to think about. In this situation, if I'm Vanderbilt, I have to imagine they're looking at what they did against A&M. They're saying, we're not going to block those guys. We're crazy. We can try to go block Dylan Stewart for what? We're going to read him. What do I mean by that? They're going to, in the option, force him to decide, do I want to try and tackle the dive or do I want to come after Diego Pavia? So Diego Pavia, one, has to make good decisions. But I think a question I have within that, every so often you get some freak show edge defenders like a Dylan Stewart, and those defenders are so annoying to play against because they're rule breakers in the sense that when you read a defender, you're supposed to be able to eliminate him with the correct read. Now, Dylan Stewart's so freakishly athletic, we've seen now multiple times, he might be good enough to play both. Not every time, but enough times to where if you get behind the sticks in the option game, that's not a good way to live, and that is advantage the defense every single time. So the athleticism of a Dylan Stewart, of a Kyle Kennard, yeah, you're going to try and read them, but what's your success level in reading them? That's going to have a major, major impact on this game. So going back to the South Carolina offense, I love Vanderbilt, but their personnel doesn't give you more concern than Texas A&M does it? You don't have, just a number of, Torian York is not lining up for Vanderbilt, right? It just kind of is what it is. Now, the personnel is good, but the reason why Vanderbilt has had some success on the defensive side, look at the time of possession for Vanderbilt. They are top 15 in America. They extend drives, they make your offense watch, and then they make you have to play catch-up if you don't maximize your possessions. That's the key here. For South Carolina, you got to maximize possessions. Vanderbilt is allowing 4 yards a carry. They're almost allowing 6 yards a play. So there's money on the ground if you want to pick it up. But you got to be willing, I think, to go north and south, not get greedy, not look for the explosive too early. If it's there, awesome. But I think this is Lenora Sellers left, Raka Sanders right, north and south. We're not trying to reinvent the playbook, reinvent the wheel. We are trying to be more physical than you. And if we do that, we should have success. But that's how it is on paper. Is that how it is in practice? And I think going back to just the weird way college football has rolled this year, Vanderbilt could win this football game. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. Vanderbilt could win this football game because of what they have on that roster now, with them upping the level of talent, with what they have internally. I spoke to the belief. I spoke to the confidence. I still think what it would require is South Carolina living a little bit in the previous moment that was the win over A&M. Because Willie B's on fire. It looks like something out of a movie. People are taking the hedges home with them, or they're picking the bushes apart. And let the kids have fun. Let them do it. I mean, who really is too concerned about that? It is what it is. But I still think that South Carolina, not being ranked, still something to prove. Let some games get away from them. I think they're still actually a little bit hungry. I think there's still some chase mode mentality from them. I think Shane Beamer is going to get them ready to play. Now, I do not think it is a blowout by any stretch of the imagination. I think that spread is probably close to what we think this game looks like. I'm going to go ahead and take South Carolina to get it done. I think they'll cover by half a point. I'll take South Carolina 27, Vanderbilt 23. So by that logic, South Carolina wins, South Carolina covers. But I think Vanderbilt gives them all they can handle. I think we walk away saying, yep, Vandy's for real. And I think we also walk away saying, hey, that's a mature South Carolina football team. Lenora Sellers is going to be real good for a long time, if we didn't already believe that. So that's our take there on what should be now the People's Top 25 matchup.